it's your boy 3 here for our first ever ranked boss. Today we're facing off against Blastapopoulos. We got a 7-minute score, which is currently second place, and I guarantee you it'll be top 50. I hope you guys enjoyed this guide, and we're going to be starting off with a 003 Alchemist on Strong. You want it pretty high and to the left, however you also want it to be able to hit the other side of the water, right, the right side. So just place it about where I do, and then as far up and to the left as possible, we are going to be placing down a 0-0 glue gunner on last targeting. Rounds 1 through 10 pretty much have no RNG, and after round 10 you can afford to get the Rubber to Gold Alchemist upgrade. Here, rounds 11 and 12 have a little bit of RNG. I get lucky here, but if you ever get a time penalty, just back out and retry. If a yellow balloon slips by, it's okay. But if a red balloon slips by, you're going to get a time penalty. I don't know about the other balloons because those are the only two I've seen happen. You should be able to do it if you have the same placements as me, but, you know, there's a little bit of RNG. After round 12, we're going to get up Obin. It's going to be on the right bottom border, and put it around the middle of there. It doesn't matter, it doesn't have to be too perfect, but this is just a better spot, and it helps you get slightly more money, which of course snowballs later on. Now that we have Obin, we're going to switch our Alchemist to last targeting and get larger potions on it, and then just start upgrading our Glue Gunner middle path. You should upgrade it to a 0-2-0, then a 0-3-0, and then you're going to do the bottom cross path. Of course you do the middle cross path to tier 3 first because of the 1 monkey knowledge, which saves you a little bit of money. With Glue Hose acquired, the only upgrade we have to do before round 40 is upgrading it to a Glue Strike, so just make sure you do it at some point before round like 38, so that it's up for the boss. And we will use the Obin ability as much as we can to kill all of the camo balloons. The only slightly scary round is round 39 because we kind of regrow farm here a little bit, but just use your Obin ability. I'd recommend that you don't use it quite as late as I do. Once you see rainbow balloons, you shouldn't use your Obin ability anymore. But you should already have enough brambles to be fine. I use it during round 39 while rainbows are out, and I end up okay, but it could cause some minor problems during the boss. So now we're going to do a little test run practice attempt because the money making we have here has a lot of RNG to it. But place it down your tack shooter, get it up to a 0-0-4, then the top cross path, and we sell the Alchemist and Glue Gunner both. In exchange, we buy a 301 Alchemist, who is going to be buffing our tax zone, of course, and we should have enough money still to afford the tax zone. If you don't, then make sure you don't cross path your Alchemist. Anyways, after that, you can go home and back and get your tax shooter about where I place it, get it up to tier 3 or 4, then the top cross path, and now we're going to get a 301 Alchemist, and once you start the boss, wait for the tack to shoot, then use your Glue Gunner ability, sell it, buy the tax zone, and you're going to want to get down a 1-0-0 permafrost right where I do, as well as using your Obin ability once before, and that way it'll pop down one of the ceramics or so. Here I don't think I even used the Obin ability, so never mind that. It does help out though if you are failing, maybe add less money, whatever. Then using the Obin ability can get you a red balloon instead of these rainbows, and then I decide to place down a Glue Gunner who doesn't actually hit it, but we didn't need it. I mostly just place it to let you guys get an advantage. Blastapopoulos is of course stopping us from selling our towers, so we start the next round, and once we can, we sell the tack shooter, buy down a 0-3-1 Ice Monkey so that we can place down our Alchemist, who is going to be a 1-0-4 on last. Place it down as fast as humanly possible, and we can sell the Ice Monkey as well, and buy down a 0-4-0 Druid of the Jungle. After we get that guy down, we sell our Ice Tower and our Alchemist, and in exchange we buy a new Alchemist, I know, creative, and get it up to a 1-0-4. Well, this guy we're going to be leaving on first targeting, and it's just going to be cleaning up whatever the first one leaves so that we can also get the extra money. Before round 42, you're going to want to place down a 0-0-3 Wizard Monkey to decamo these guys so that we can get more money on them. And then I get down a Glue Gunner who is a 0-2-2 However, you don't have to, but if you do, make sure it's on last targeting. Alright, now we've done nothing for a while, and we have $25,000. So here, after round 49, we're going to be needing to use our Obin ability, just the thorns, and you're going to want to target the trees towards the front of the track so that we can catch the second mob inside of the trees. Your Obin should be level 10 right now, otherwise you did something wrong or you have less monkey knowledge. And we're going to sell down the Druid, Wizard, and Glue, which should leave us with about $34,000, which is enough to save up for the Spirit of the Forest real quick mid-round. It's not too tight in terms of money, so you should be fine. And then we're going to catch this next Moab inside of our wall of trees. After round 50, we're going to get back up our Wizard Monkey, who is again a 003. And then we're going to build up another Alchemist, who is our Rubber to Gold. This time we're going to put it up a little bit higher. We still want it not fully at the top, but we want to just barely be able to alchemize things before the wall of trees. So yeah, just whenever you can, get it up to a 004 and then a 104 and leave it on first targeting because first is fine. And you're going to want to place down a glue gunner, not inside of the water. If it does that, if it makes the ice platform under it, then it's in the wrong spot. You just want to do as far up and to the left as possible without the ice platform, and upgrade to a 030 and then a 032. Of course, be sure to put it on last targeting. At some point when you can afford to, before round like 59, you're going to want to upgrade to a glue strike. And of course, you should be using Wall of Trees whenever you can. Here we are at the end of round 59, and all we're going to do here is sell everything except for a Glue Gunner and Obin, because that would be incredibly silly. And this one, unlike the first boss, has no RNG to it. In fact, the only thing that has RNG is the first boss, and there's a little bit of money making RNG, but it should even out pretty well, and otherwise you guys will get a slightly higher, maybe slightly lower score, but don't worry about it. Get down a Ice Monkey around where I do. The placement's not exact, but it just allows you to get the attack zone extra close to the boss. But before you buy the attack zone, we're just going to be buying them to tier 4, so make sure you go 004 and then cross path for the discounts. You shouldn't have any primary towers down who aren't tier 3 or higher, so just be sure of that. Get down an Embrittlement Ice Monkey, which is a 410, of course. Be sure you upgrade it to 400 first, and then 410. I'm going to stop saying that, but just know, do that for all of the towers, right? I mean, do it for all the primary towers, but you might as well do it for all of them just to be safe. Alright, so up next we go for an Alchemist, which is a 301, as close as humanly possible to your tack shooter, and get a second tack shooter, Alchemist, and you should have at least $46,600. If you don't, you can skip out on the second Alchemist or the second tack shooter if you're really behind, and upgrade to Super Brittle first and then the tack zone, and start your boss. Should be nice and easy. Obin's Wall of Trees is going to be cleaning up, so we don't have to worry about anything sneaking by. The boss is dead. We are going to have to wait a little bit before we're able to sell things, of course, because that's what Blastapopoulos does, but we're going to be selling in exchange for the Spirit of the Forest again, who we want to get up mid-round because it's just, better to get mid-round. So yeah, sell your tax zone and your Super Brittle in exchange for a Spirit of the Forest. After round 61's over, we're going to be selling both Alchemists and getting down the old setup, which was except we're going to be placing it a little bit higher, using a 030 Ice Monkey to help out. Once you have the top Ice Monkey, you can sell the bottom one, and we're just going to work on a 104 Alchemist on last targeting. And then get to work on your next Alchemist, who's going to be on first again, and it's just going to be a 103, who then becomes a 104. Once you have the 104 Alchemist back down and about $5,000 saved up, it should be around round 63, you're going to get a mid-round Jungle's Bounty, and just make sure you retarget the trees down so that your trees can be as far forward as possible. Use the trees whenever you can and start spamming down your 040 Druids. Once you can't fit any more in range of Obin, which I'm sure for you guys might be a little bit better, but I had a weird Obin placement, so whatever. Just get down a 030 Ice Monkey and start placing them in range of Obin and the Ice Monkey. Of course, you're doing it in range of Obin because it gives you 50% more money. Anyways, the Druid should be placed like as far to the right as possible while still being in range of both, because that means they'll hit the Moab balloons less, which would make them go into the wall of trees, which is very good. And after you get down your second Druid, you're going to work on an 8003 Shimmer Wizard. And we're just going to keep on placing down and upgrading our Druids. In the middle of round 68 is the last time you can get down Jungle's Bounty and have it be profitable, and so that is when we stop. I end up with 3 Druids, hopefully you guys get the same number. Make sure you are using your Obin's Wall of Trees to get a little bit more money, but anyways, now we can sell most of everything. Just sell what I sell here, which is one of the Alchemists, the Shimmer Wizard, all of our Druids other than the Spirit of the Forest, because we want more money to get a higher degree Paragon later. Get down a 031 Ice Monkey, and let's start getting down some 204 Overdrives. Again, tier 4 first, and then tier 2 upgrades, and get a 401 Embrittlement. And we're going to be alchemizing these guys. Do not overspend, right? You want to get 301 Alchemists for these guys, but if that would cause you to go below $46,600, then do not get it, okay? You guys can leave one of them at a 400. You guys could not alchemize the tack shooter. You guys could be a full tack shooter behind. Just don't go too low, and we'll be able to afford getting the Super Brittle and the tack zone. The tier 3 boss is actually the slowest, and what you want to do is once the attack shooter starts shooting, of course you use the glue strike again, and just during the rounds here, if you didn't upgrade something, then you can finish off that upgrade, but mostly we're just going to sit back, relax, and I start placing down the 104 Alchemist again, which is the rubber to gold, and I just put it on last targeting here because now it's safer to put it on last, as we will not be selling these attack shooters, so you know, it's just there's going to be less balloons, but it's still worth getting. After the boss is destroyed, we can start selling the T5 Ice Monkey, that's super brittle, and work on Druids again. Getting them mid-round isn't that important, however this round is pretty long and it's pretty easy to get the mid-round, so why not if you can, you know? After that, we're going to be selling our Alchemists, not the rubber to gold ones, of course, and do not sell the tack shooters, as we need those pops for Paragon degrees later, but just keep on placing Jungle's Bounties. Once you run out of space inside of Obin's range, we're just going to be upgrading our Monkey to a Snowstorm, so that we have more iced range, which should allow us to place more Druids in range of Obin. You can see here I have the Shimmer, but if you wanted to optimize it, you could have gotten the Shimmer at round 90 instead of in the 80s, as there are no camo balloons in the 80s, so just be mindful of that. It would have been slightly better. Maybe you guys can get more money than me. It's not going to be too big of a difference though, so don't worry about it. Just keep on building these Druids. I stopped building them on round 88, and by the way, you should have been using Wall of Trees the whole time. I hope that's pretty obvious. I'm going to be showing off every DDT round, as they can be the scariest ones. However, between your Glue Strike ability, your Snowstorm ability, and your Obin's Wall of Trees, and the Explosion ability from Spirit of the Forest, you really should not struggle, right? You have all of those abilities, and a Shimmer is helping out too. But with your money, in order to help out against the DDTs, get down a 401 Alchemist as close as possible to the tack zone, around this spot that I have it. Round 92, I actually decided to use the Snowstorm against the ZOMGs, as that will let the tack zone get more pops, which helps with Paragon later. Round 93, I refresh Obin's Wall of Trees to help suck in the DDTs. And then in the middle of round 94, I can afford to upgrade to a permanent brew, which will obviously solve like all of our problems. Up next, get an Embrittlement around here, 401. For round 95, I like to get down a second Shimmer upgrade just to be safe, however it's not needed. After that, you're going to want to start spamming down a bunch of 0-0 tack shooters. These do not have to be in range of the Alchemist, but you want them as close to the track as possible, as they will be hitting the boss. These are later going to be upgraded to tier 4s, and the reason you want 17 of them is because we have to get 17 of them in order to get the Paragon. so you're just going to upgrade to Snowstorm in order to have more range so that you can fit in tack shooters in a better location. And once you have 17 of them, place down a 040 Desperado Monkey to extend the Permanent Brew's range so that it can hit all of them. Now, after round 99, we get up to Super Brittle. The reason you didn't get it before round 99 is because it would have been stealing pops from the tack shooters, which is known for being bad. And after that, spend all of your money on overdrives. You actually don't have to do them in perfect order this time because we have the tack zone down the whole time. So yeah, just spend all the money you can on overdrives and then sell the Desperado Monkey so that you can get up more overdrives. Anyways, once you're out of money, start the boss, and once the attacks start attacking, you may use your Glue Strike ability. This should be pretty easy, especially if you have 2 shimmers up. However, if you don't, you might have some small troubles with DDTs. However, you really shouldn't, but 2 shimmers helps. During the boss, we are of course going to just be spending all the money we can on overdrives, and one important thing to note is that we are getting the overdrives that are closest to the boss, right? The ones that he's about to come hit, and that just helps out a little bit. I think I could have optimized this slightly to get a sub 7-minute run. I mean, very slightly. I mean, you basically wouldn't have to optimize at all. I'm not salty, but I also don't want to spend another hour on this, so here's your run. If this video has been helping you out, be sure to leave a like, subscribe, and use code YOBOY, and keep on upgrading your tack shooters, as that is very, very important. But yeah, once the boss is down, we are not going to be selling much of anything except for the Super Brittle. And yeah, I mean, just back to Druid farming. You're going to want to fill up 100% of the space inside of Obin and the Snowstorm's range with 040 Druids. And by the way, the reason they've been uncross-path is because, 1, the cross-path cost money, and why would we spend money when we don't need to? By the way, get down another Shimmer Wizard, which is just for safety, as the hundreds can have some pretty scary rounds, and with no embrittlement, we need all the decamo we can get. And just finish up the overdrive spam, you know, make sure they're all upgraded. Now that we sold the Super Brittle, it should be easy to afford. I get down a 402 Inferno ring, and then I start spamming down all the jungle's bounties that will fit inside of Obin's range. There might be a couple of spots I'm missing here, but that's the gist of it. You can fit a couple of them on the island as well, which is nice, but yeah. The only thing we have to do after getting the Druid army down is make sure Obin's trees are set for in the back, as if you have them as far forward as possible, they'll be stealing some pops from the tack shooter, and the amount of money it makes is not that important. And just make sure you have all of the Druids in range of Obin you can possibly fit. Alright, really check it, because more Druids is more money, which is more gooder. If you're going for my score, right, 7 minutes or less, or somewhere around there, then you are going to very much have to use abilities during the rounds. I like to use Snowstorm to slow down ZOMGs. Glue Strike also will help damage things. Just use your abilities as you can, and it shall help you get more damage for your tack shooters, which is important, as you can just barely get to degree 60 like this. Now, skipping forward to round 119, you should try to sell literally everything you can, which is the Druid army, the Permanent Brew, the Shimmers. You just can't sell the ice platforms, unfortunately. By the way, in between rounds, you should have gotten the rest of the tier 5 tack shooters. But yeah, this is where the magic happens. If it is 59 or even 60, then congrats. You've won it. You can get a degree 60. If it's 60, you actually want to get it up during the round. Not during the round. You want to get it up right at the start of the round, so that obviously, you know, you can get the cooldown up, which will give you like a big 5 or 10 second advantage on the tier 5 boss. However, if you're like me and got it to degree 59, then don't worry about it. We're just going to press play on round 119, and we should be able to get a degree 60 for the tier 5 boss fight. And if you got below a degree 59, then I'm very sorry, but you're just going to get it at whatever degree you can get it at without sacrificing money, and you're going to want to get up an army, probably Permanent Brew, Super Brittle, and just spam down overdrives. But yeah, that kind of sucks. You're going to get a slightly worse time. One thing that sucks about bossing is just that it doesn't tell you what Paragon degree. It should really do that when you're in the slider menu, and that would mean you wouldn't have to go out and back in like I did. But I learned that I could sell off everything except for Obin and the attack shooters and the ice platforms they're on, because you cannot sell those. And I was able to get it up to degree 60 while keeping just a couple $1,000 spare. I believe it was 3,500. Yep, there it is. And what you're going to want to do here is, before the boss, just spam down as many attack shooters as you can and an embrittlement ice tower to buff the damage. So yeah, this boss fight is on 2x speed, and what you do during it is very simple, luckily, because Attack Paragon has no micro to it. I get up a hot shots, even more attacks, however that is not ideal because the embrittlement makes the bottom cross path better, which I realized like 2 seconds in, and nowadays I do in fact regret getting it because, well, I could have gotten a sub 7, maybe. I mean, it probably would have made no difference, but it's better to get, overdrives and stuff. And yeah, just wherever the boss's nose, wherever that tip is where you kind of want to be placing the overdrive. And about a quarter second before the last skull, you're going to want to press the extra range ability on the attack shooter, which will obviously help out a bunch. It pretty much buffs the damage, and the closer you get to it, the better. But yeah, I mean, here we go. I got the 7-minute score. I really wish it was a sub 7, but hey, whatever. This video took many hours to make, so seriously, I will not do this again unless you guys show your support, alright? If we get a bunch of likes, a bunch of views, if I see you in the comments enjoying it, and even if I just see a couple people in the comments who actually appreciated this video, I'll make more. But anyways, use code YOBOY, and yeah, have a wonderful, wonderful day. Peace out, y'all.